Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. Hi, welcome to Ask Me Anything. I am spiritual medium Kellee White, and I've got a great show for you today. So today is April 28th, 2022, and we have some exciting planetary events to go over and a great guest tonight. But let me say hi to everybody. Hi, Lisa G. Hi, Sarah Stone. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Arlene. Hi, Julie. Hi, Laura. How are you guys doing? Hi, Steve. Hi, everybody. Hi, Linda. Hi, Bonnie. This is so fun. You guys are going to love tonight's guest. Hi, Elizabeth. And I know a lot of you. Hi, Tracy. I know a lot of you guys know who my guest is. So I should tell you who the guest. I'm going to tell you who our guest is first, and then I'm going to go through some astrology, and then I'll introduce her. But we have Prajna Avalon tonight, extraordinary healer. And we're going to be talking about everything healing and about our new upcoming event coming up. So this is going to be a really exciting show. Hi, everybody. Oh, my gosh, Peggy from the Cumberland Plateau. I'm not sure where that is, but wow. Hi, Kim Ann. Oh, my. Hi, Renee Hounsel. Yeah, it is a beautiful evening out there. And I thought what we'll do first is let me start with the astrology. First of all, let me just say this. Has everybody had the most wacky week ever? I know I must sound like a broken record. I say this all the time, every week it seems, but this week seems to be, I don't know, highly emotionally charged. I've had a lot of breakups around, a lot of just different kind of situations. And I thought I would talk about them from an astrological standpoint. And I thought I'm going to start with what's going on tomorrow, which the energy's already been felt. But right now, as of very soon, in the next few hours probably, Pluto, the hidden planet, goes retrograde. And it's going to be the first planet to go retrograde in about 2.5 months. So retrograde, planets don't really go backwards, but they slow down a great deal. And when this happens, it throws life into it can throw life into chaos. But Pluto is the planet of the underworld. And it's the planet that its job is to uncover deep emotions. So deeply buried emotions, hidden secrets, traumas. And I just can't help but think of the Johnny Depp trial that's going on with Amber Heard. It's bringing up all kinds of stuff, right? And I thought to myself, wow, I mean, that is I'll just say this. I am so grateful that I'm not the therapist in that. That is some sort of something going on there that I've never seen. I hear about dirty laundry, but to see it, up front like that is something else. But that's the Pluto retrograde. That Pluto retrograde brings up things. It will bring up, if you've had addictions, if you've been around people with addictions, it's a really big deal because it brings up things that have been long hidden. And so this lasts until October 8th. It's a big deal when Pluto goes retrograde. If you do remember when Pluto had the Pluto return, which was on February 22nd, 2022. And then 2 days later, there was a war with Russia and Ukraine. So Pluto's very important. It's an outer planet. So Neptune's an outer planet. So it would affect the world. So this Pluto retrograde will affect the world. It will affect us with our own traumas and our own things that we also have to go through. So this will be the last time that Pluto retrogrades in this lifetime for us. So it's a big deal. Thank you, Charlene, for that. It is a big deal here, and it's just a huge deal because it also leads us ultimately to spiritual growth, and that's where we want to go with this. So the next big ticket item that we have going, because that's not enough. There's so many things that are happening. On April 30th, on Saturday, we have our first in our eclipse season. We go into eclipse season, and we have a partial solar eclipse. And this is a big deal because it does two things. I mean, it's in Taurus. It's a Taurus new moon eclipse. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But it's also conjunct Venus and Jupiter in Pisces. That's a big deal right there. And also it conjuncts Uranus. And that Uranus brings a lot of surprises to an already big deal, which is this eclipse. So eclipses are portals. They are portals for our future. So we want to think of them. They're attached to the North Node and they're connected to the future. So think of them as like a new moon on a steroid. You want to think of it as on Saturday, you really want to plant the seeds of where do you want to see your life go? Because this eclipse, now it's in Taurus, and in Taurus, it is about financial. It'll affect finances, and it could affect it to a good way, actually. And it's also about beauty and earth and the earth. So this is going to be a very big eclipse, and you want to look at your life from 19 years ago, because the last time this happened was 19 years ago. So 19 years ago would have been 2003, approximately April and May of 2003. What was your life like? What were you doing in your life? Because this time now it's going to, peel the way the onion even more so, basically, about your life and setting your life on a track that you want to be on. So this is a really interesting time with a lot of surprises. It's very emotional. People will feel a lot of emotions. They feel a lot of emotions during this period of time. And in fact, people will be overly sensitive and overly emotional. But this is a really good thing because it's all about healing. And having said that, we have the perfect healer on to discuss everything healing. So I want to invite everybody to meet Prajna Avalon, who's an extraordinary healer for over 20 years. Prajna, welcome to Ask Me Anything. Hi, Prajna. Hi.
Here again. Oh my gosh.
Always great to see you. Oh my gosh. Tell everybody where you are.
I'm in Rio de Janeiro. I'm in Brazil, in Rio. I'm next to Ipanema Beach. It's quite nice.
Oh my gosh. And you do your healing from there.
I do my healing from here. I've done my healing remotely for the past probably 15 years.
Wow.
So I've done my healing when I lived in India for the few years that I lived there. I've done my healings when I travel. I do my healings from here. So it's wonderful. And I actually love remote healings more than I love in-person healings. And the clients do too. So it works amazing for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, it does. And if anybody hasn't not had a session with Prajna, you need to have one. She's an extraordinary healer. And we're going to talk all about healing. And one of the things that Prajna and I had this idea, we both of us had been thinking about and talking about Atlantis and Lemuria. I mean, when I first met you, we were talking about this.
Exactly. We've been talking about this for like 2 years, at least 2 years. It's been calling to us, right?
Yes, it really has.
It really has.
It has. And it seems like it's a really becoming now a popular subject.
Yes, I think so. I feel that, the world is going through such a dark time. It's such a time of chaos and release and clearing and darkness, darkness
my God.
in all senses. So it's hard to find anything or something in the world today that is so good to hold on to. It's becoming really difficult between people, right? Or with everything. So I feel that these energies that were here at one point, they've been probably taking care of us all along. And now I feel like they're stepping in to really bring us that wisdom back and clarity and insights, and life force and energy vibration, because we really need it. The world, we really need to boost this planet up.
We do.
Right?
It really is time to raise the consciousness. Everybody's got to raise their consciousness for this. And I think that is really what Lumeria and Atlantis was about, a higher form of consciousness. And I really feel that it's so important as this world gets more intense that we remember, we remember who we are and what we've come from and why we're here.
Absolutely. I feel that I always saw in my healing work that we incarnate and the universe or, whatever,
Yeah.
it dampers our memories to a certain level to
Yeah.
kind of shape things up for what we need while we're here. And sometimes they open it up to what we've known in the past, and it's kind of stored there so that we can use it. And this time, it's exactly what you're saying. It's time for us to remember all of this wisdom and knowledge that's been dormant in us so we can really use these tools for us, for our families,
Right.
for others, for the world. It's so crucial, Kellee. I feel,
Right.
don't you feel this?
Oh, I completely feel it. And you and I, before we got online, we were talking about something really important about healing. And we're in a
Yes.
period right now with this eclipse and with this Pluto return, this Pluto retrograde. It's about doing your work in healing. And we were saying that. Well, tell everybody what you were telling me about why it's important for healers right now to do the work.
Yeah. So healers, we can't go help anybody heal if we haven't done the healing work ourselves.
Yeah.
Because the way healing work works is that we need to have a template that's healed so we can bring that template to the energy healing session, to the mediumship session, whatever it is, so that that person's energy field can feel that healed template and then go in that direction. So what's happening right now is that there's a lot of wounding, like you were talking about trauma, right? Pluto bringing
A
trauma,
lot of trauma.
wounding, and emotions. I've been feeling this for at least 3 weeks massively in my life, like things coming up that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have worked on this for 30 something years. Like,
Right.
it's that deeper place that's being really brought up now. I see this with my clients across the board, within themselves, relationships, and for healers. A lot of the times, right, Kellee, I think you agree, like people think that us as healers, we have everything figured out.
Right.
We've worked on everything, our lives are perfect, our relationships are perfect, we don't have self-judgment, we don't have anything.
Right.
We're like
Worry-free, yippee skippy, it's a walk in the park.
Exactly, we levitate to the kitchen and we levitate to the living room. Just go like that. But we're doing the work too, and we gotta go a step ahead of everybody else. So when all of this is coming up, we're going through, I know I've been going through it in a way that's really intense for me. And an invitation for everybody too is that, so we're talking about us as healers, but all of us healing beings, like we hold these healing torches, right? If we're here watching the show, you're a healing torch, like you're walking through this world as a light post, right? So you're going to be invited to do this work too. And it's important to embrace it. A lot of the times we want to run away from our fears, our wounds, our reactions, our anger, whatever it is. We need to look at it, embrace it, and then have compassion, acceptance, love, and use it. And then the tricky part is, how do we do it differently than other times? Like, how do we bring it to a deeper healing level? How can we bring our awareness in a different way? How can we not repeat the pattern we've been doing our whole lives?
Well,
Right?
you have to really be conscious. You have to really stop and be conscious. And you have to, once you have an awareness doesn't lead to change. It leads to awareness, but then you have to really like get that inside of you that things have changed. And the ego doesn't like that. The ego doesn't like to change.
The ego doesn't like that. And also the ego is immediatist. It wants everything right there at the moment, right? And like you said, awareness doesn't necessarily bring change. Sometimes awareness takes time, and then we use our tools, and then the change comes as we go. Right. And I know for me, when I'm going, I've had my wound come up so much lately in a way that I have not been able to stop it. And in the moment, I'm telling myself, Prajna, you're in your wound. You're overreacting. You're not seeing the truth. You're not seeing the person in front of you. You're reacting. You're not honoring them. You're not honoring yourself. And I haven't had the strength to stop it. I've had the awareness.
Right, so, but not the strength. Oh, interesting.
Because it's such a deep part that's coming up now. And I guess I want to bring this up. So if anybody else is going through this, to have a lot of compassion for yourself. Yeah. Because these are deep layers. So then the awareness will help you the day after when you're like, okay, what happened there? And then what can I do differently? Like, how can I talk? To me, it was like, how can I speak to this person that I really just hurt? And I just, threw all of this massive mess for myself onto them. Okay, what do I do now? How can I open my heart? How can I come with love towards myself, compassion, and towards them? So how can we create a healing environment so everyone can heal and those things can release, and stay in the past? So are you seeing this with your clients too?
I'm seeing it with all my clients, clients. But what I also am seeing this week too, which is really interesting to me, are breakthroughs. Yes. Where they actually see what's happened or what they went through, or the forgiveness piece, or the ability to move through it or let go or heal it or something. I've actually seen change. Listen, as a therapist too, I think to myself, please God, I want everybody to heal. That's what I think, right? I mean, that's a constant. And every once in a while there'll be that aha moment. And then after that comes the work of actually making the change. But this week I saw it. I've seen it with a few people this week, actually.
Yes, I have too, Kellee.
It gave me a lot of hope.
Yes.
And I think energetically what happens is there's a time period where all the shit's flying, like just bad stuff going. And then somehow it's like the universe, the energy changes up. And you ride the wave back to healing again. So it's always to give people hope, and it's always to know that change is extremely possible here.
Yeah, well, change will always happen, and if we put our intention there, we're not going to stay in the dark place, in the fear, in the sadness, in the pain. We're not going to stay there forever. We're not meant. We're meant to be happy. We're meant to feel love. We're meant to feel peaceful. We're truly meant to feel that, because that's truly who we are in our essence. That's who we really are. So we're going back there. We're going back to our essence. So we're peeling those layers of the onions where there's wounding and fear and anger and trauma. And in order to peel them, we got to feel them. And that's when the awareness comes in. If we feel them and we hold with love and connection, and we keep walking forward.
And compassion for what we went through. Compassion. And this is a really fascinating period of time in this dimension that we wanted to be here. And the reason we wanted to be here at this time is because our souls will grow 7 times faster. So if you think to yourself, wow, I'm going through this extremely rough, painful process of grief and sadness and loss, and who am I and what happened? If you begin to work on it, the universe will zip it up pretty quickly for you, and you'll grow so much this period of time. So it's a really great period of time to live the authentic life that you came in. That you came into this life to heal, to be able to do the work, to raise your consciousness, which raises everybody's consciousness.
Exactly. We're in that, this togetherness that you just mentioned is so important to remember, because none of us is alone. None of us heal. We don't heal alone. We don't grow alone. We do our inner work, but it's always in relation. There's always a bigger purpose. It's not for just us alone to just, go into enlightenment on our own. That's just not how things work. Right?
No, it's not. And and it's funny, as you're talking about that, I know that on the other side, before we came in, we had been souls teaching this on the other side. As you were talking about that, and talking about really the human construct, if you will, of what goes on here as a human being, I could literally just see you talking from another point of view, if you will.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. I actually, when I was a child, I personally, just for myself, I had memories of doing that. When I was really little, like 5, 6, 7 years old, or maybe not even 7, I had memories of being in front of many, many people and teaching this, and that we were all going to come together. And I think we're all here, and we're this massive army in a positive way of thinking. We're this army of love. I mean, love heals everything. And I think that's such an important thing for us to remember, because these 2 years especially have brought up so much darkness. There's so much blame. Like we're hardened, but like as a people, you see people angry on the street, you see people arguing, you see more fights, you see it's not an easy time. We gotta come back to love within ourselves, because love connects, love
Yeah.
heals, love forgives, love understands, love sees the truth. Love truly, truly, truly is the most important healer that there is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It is. I mean, it's so true. Everybody's saying, yes, it's all about love. I mean, it actually is about love in
It
this
is, it
dimension.
really is.
It's supposed to be.
It's a
And
relational dimension. We're here. It's
yes,
a relational dimension. We're here for relationships. We're
and
here.
that's actually how you heal is through relation.
It's how you
It's how
feel.
you heal. It's how you learn. You can learn so much. I mean, this is, why we come in this land of duality to have relationships.
Exactly. We teach each other. We hold space for each other while we
Yeah.
heal. It's so important.
Yes. Oh, that's so true. Let's see. Oh gosh. Well, I've got a lot of questions, but it was so interesting because Prajna and I were talking. We're doing this amazing seminar or this webinar, and it's a 3-part event. And the first one is June 10th, I believe. It's June 10th, and it's going to be so extraordinary. It's about Lemuria and Atlantis. And Prajna and I over the weekend were talking about different experiences that we have regarding Lumeria and Atlantis. And one of the things, and Renee Hounsel, if you're listening, you had asked a great question. And what you didn't know, honey, was this was such a great thing because Prajna and I were actually talking about this. But Renee Hounsel, she says, hi, Kellee and Prajna. She said, I have a question. I'm experiencing a lot with crystals. I've been hearing tones of all kinds of the crystals. I have visions of crystal towers that like some sort of energy source, resonating sounds for the communities. She said, could I be seeing something from another civilization, which is Lemuria or Atlantis? And so ironically, I guess it's hard to imagine, but this is what Prajna and I, Renee, were talking about over the weekend. It's pretty extraordinary stuff here. So do you want to tell everybody what one of the many things we'll be talking about? But it's so extraordinary.
Since Renee brought this up, I feel like it's probably because we need to bring this here, not so people can really feel what they'll be getting into when we go into the webinars, the workshops. So for Atlantis specifically, this that Renee mentioned is like towers, or that she said crystal towers. So Atlantis had a gigantic crystal generator right in the center of the islands. It was massive. It was really huge, and there were things moving through it the whole time. And what was that for? So the Atlantean people came from such a high vibrational place that the vibration from that place could not be detected or felt or transmitted to when they were on Earth, because Earth has a different vibration. Each planet vibrates differently, and you got to kind of meet somewhere, so you can communicate. This crystal is where all of the consciousness, the awareness, the wisdom, the knowledge from millions of years from that planet, it would come down into that crystal. It will be all centered there. And as the need would arise, the information would be sent to the Atlanteans that were here, and they would receive that. So this crystal, Renee, was a generator. It did hold consciousness. It was the main life force of Atlantis. So it has everything to do with crystals. So if you're listening and you've been drawn to crystals, I mean, I always have a crystal next to me. I'm sure you do too, Kellee.
Are you kidding me? No, I'm like a crystal freak in nature.
Yeah, exactly.
And Lumeria, the same thing. We had crystals everywhere. In fact, many crystals that you may have in your possession now may have been something that you would have programmed while you had a life or many lives in Lumeria. You would have programmed a crystal that in 10,000 years that you're going to have that same crystal again. And I feel the energy of so many of my crystals that I'd had before. And when you're like walking by a crystal and you see it and you go, I have to have that one. Why is that one calling my name? It's that experience that I'm talking about.
That's beautiful. That's great. So there's so much synchronicity and so much similarities. And that's why we're being called to this. We're being called. I mean, this wisdom and this awareness has been around us the entire time. Right. And I feel like, I don't know, my soul always called to Atlantis and to Lemuria, right? Didn't yours? Like
always.
All of us here.
some of my original past lives that I could see when I was a little girl. I would see them, and all had to do with Lemuria and Atlantis, all of
Yeah.
it. And then I
It's
didn't have a word for it or a name for it. And then I finally got the name, and I went, "Oh my God, that's me. That was exactly what was happening." And I
yeah,
think that if you are an empath, or if you are a medium, or if you are a healer, if you're a psychic, if you're a therapist, you will be called to do this event, because you're going to learn so much about life there and the gifts that you have from there. And you're going to be doing a meditation per each event, right?
yes,
Which is going to be
absolutely.
really fun. Yeah, really
Yeah,
great.
it's a lot of knowledge, a lot of fun, but a lot of integrating, internalizing,
Okay.
bringing in. So it's going to be, connecting to the gifts. What were you, why were you there? Were you there? Who were you there? What did you what did you hold? And then we're going to be bringing these gifts. The second part, we're going to be bringing these gifts, embodying it, really bringing it into ourselves, inviting it to be here in this lifetime now. And then how do we bring it to the world? To our
Right.
family, to our people, to our and into the world. So it's a
Right.
very, very important. It's kind of like a rebirth into something, or an
Yeah.
initiation. Or it's not really a class. It's a class, but not really, right? It's like
I
a
love that. It's an initiation. I feel it's more of a remembering
oh,
who you
remember.
are, remembering how deep your soul is. Your soul, this is not your first rodeo. Come
No,
on. You've had
yeah,
lots and
ex-
thousands of rodeos here, you know,
exactly. It's
and
like
some from here and some from lots of other galaxies. Earth is just one school. It's an
exactly.
important school. And I really feel that thousands of years ago, when the Atlanteans were here, they were such advanced souls that were
Yeah,
here, and the Lemurians came before them, and they were very advanced
so
too, and
advanced too.
totally different energies, totally
Yes.
different energies.
Completely different energies. And how amazing to, if we can, which we will really connect to the energy of the Lemurians, the energy of the Atlantis, and bring the energy here to this world where we were just talking about, the relational world. So that
Yeah.
knowledge, the peace, the connection of the Lemurians, the knowledge and the healing from the Atlantis, and then there's relational love that we have here.
Yes.
And this,
Yes.
I mean, how amazing
It's
is
going to
that?
be really extraordinary, everybody. So
Yeah.
Anne Rogers has a question. She says, do people come to this life to experience illness, and they won't be able to be healed because of the lesson that's needed to be learned? It's a great question, Anne Rogers.
It's a great question. It can, this answer can go so many ways. So
I know.
I'm always a bit hesitant to answer it directly, because each soul has a journey,
Yeah.
right? An illness will mean something to me, and it will mean something completely different to Kelly, and something completely different to everybody else. But I guess what I'll say is, with everything in life, there is a reason. Nothing is happening. There is no mistake in the universe. There's no mistake with God, or whatever we want to call the greater force. There
Yeah.
are no mistakes. Sometimes, a lot of people look at illnesses as, oh, we gotta, pay this negative karma or something, and I gotta learn this lesson and all that. That's mostly how it's looked at. Some illnesses are like that. They truly, truly are. And we do need to kind of learn that lesson so that we can heal and move on. I've seen many times illnesses that are of service. The
Yes, I have too. Tell us about that.
right,
Hmm.
the person chose to be sick
Yeah.
so that the family could learn unity, could learn compassion, to take
Yeah.
care of somebody else. They could learn
Right.
to communicate. So there's illness that is out of love and service
Right.
for others, and somebody can
Right.
either even give their lives away for that. So there's so
Right.
many things, but there's always a purpose. So we got to embrace it, and not embrace the illness as like, oh, here, I want you here, but like, okay,
Right.
I'm going through this. I'm going to do my very best to be with this, to learn from this, to have love and happiness as I go through this, because it's always about that. It's always about going towards a positive thing. So regardless of whatever the reason is, let's do our best to be present with it, accept it, and rise to the occasion that's there, and be better than we could possibly think we could ever have been before.
Right. Right. So true. That's so true, because sometimes you come to overcome something in an
Yeah.
illness. Sometimes you come to actually know that you can heal. You know,
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
And sometimes it's, an illness teaches you to slow down. It might teach you to really pay attention to what's really important in life, like taking care of yourself. Or, I mean,
Yes.
there's so many different reasons right now.
Yes.
So Rudy Perez says, how can you find your purpose after losing a child when your heart is so empty? And that's from Tammy Perez. Hi, Tammy.
Mhm.
That's a hard one, sweetheart. That's a really hard one. So, you know, it could be when you lose a child, it could have, what is it teaching you? Is it teaching you compassion for what you've went through? Is it teaching you to help others through such great loss? I always feel that when parents lose children, they're not only are the children so incredibly special, but the parents are. Because
Yeah.
if God said to me, look, Kelly, I need you to do me a favor, I'd be like, no, 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 no. No, I can't have that one. And I know that your heart right now is empty. I understand that. But just know that your child is right around you. And I have a feeling you're going to be doing something to help others once you start to begin the process of healing. And it is a long process. Grief.com has a lot of good information on it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I would say just be with your experience. Sometimes we feel like finding a purpose is something so beyond the beyond.
yeah,
Sometimes finding our purpose, it could be, being with our experience so that somebody else that doesn't know how to be with pain can learn how to,
right,
right?
right.
It can
Yeah,
be, and it's the best way to find our purpose is to really follow our hearts. I know the grief will be forever. I don't think
yeah.
the grief of losing a child
Oh,
probably ever
no,
goes
your
away.
life is completely changed. And, Kathy Cade says grief and loss of dear loved ones opens us up to deep healing. And that
Yes.
is very true. Grief
Yeah.
really does do that.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Everything opens our hearts. Everything that forces us to
yeah,
feel opens our hearts.
yeah,
So that's why I say it's always the heart is always the way. It's always the way. The last thing we should ever allow ourselves to do is to close our hearts.
yeah. Oh, I
Because
agree.
so much.
It's so interesting. I've had people who have lost. I mean, I'm a medium, so I work with loss every day, every
Yeah.
day. But
Yeah.
I often hear the same stories, and they're so interesting to me about how one mother will have lost a child, and she would be, going to the store, and the next thing you know, she's sitting there talking to somebody else, and they had also just lost a child. So the
Yeah.
universe will put people together like that,
Yeah.
to either console, to understand you're not alone out there. You're just not
Yes.
alone out there.
We're never
And I
alone.
have chills everywhere as I say that. So
Yeah.
I know that your son is right near there with you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Michelle Bonin says, I've had a lot of physical pain in this lifetime. I wondered if it was karmic. So I asked. The answer I received was that the reason was the genes or the DNA in the family I incarnated into.
Ah.
Where do you go
So,
with that?
let me just have this one.
Okay, it's yours, honey.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, it is true. The family we incarnate into is what we were meant to incarnate into.
Yeah.
So that is number one. So that has a lot to do with it.
We choose our families.
And we choose our families. There are reasons, for
Yeah.
again, each person. There are billions of reasons why
Yeah.
one could choose their family, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And so whether it's karmic or not, I guess it goes back to what I shared about the illness before, right?
Yeah.
It could be karmic, it could be a teaching, it could be a service, it could be a learning, it could have nothing to do with karma. So it could have to do with many, many things. Now I'll say this about families and DNA. A lot of the times illnesses run into groups, spirit groups, soul groups that have been incarnating together and having difficulties and fights and all of that. And then you incarnate and things show up as illnesses. Anything that's negative in our energy field will show up as something negative in our physical body. Hands down, there's nothing that is not connected to that. Okay.
Wow.
So the DNA of a family will never, and I would say never again, dictate your physical health. It's absolutely possible, and it's an invitation from the universe for one to disconnect to the pattern of negative cycle from a family from whatever that is, so that they can find their healing. Okay, it's very important. We're never stuck with a family DNA, and there's a lot of healing work that can be done with that. That's why sometimes these things happen, for people to wake up and be like, oh, whoa, let's break this chain. Whoa,
Does that mean get away from the family and set boundaries?
Well, you can set boundaries, but you don't necessarily have to do that, because sometimes it's a family that you love and you don't need to set boundaries. And it's an amazingly beautiful family. But everybody, let's say, has heart attacks, or everybody has I don't know, cancer. Okay, why is this there? What's there in this lineage, in this family, that could be coming from many lifetimes that's still not let go of? And the family can do this together through like family constellations or different things, or the person can do it and look into them. And all you need to release is the negative attachment patterns. You don't need to release your family necessarily or anything. It's really just about our journey and what we choose to go into.
So would that be looking at the negative family pattern and then making a conscious choice to not go down that road, or to stop it, to stop thinking that way, to change? Exactly.
And a lot of times, Kelly, they're kind of like soul contracts that we develop along the way. So there was something when I 20 years ago, when I was graduating from the Barbara Brandon Healing School, I actually did a piece of work on family illnesses, because there's something that runs in my family. And I was like, why do these people have it and I don't have it? Like, what happened? So what I learned was that sometimes there are contracts that one person does. Well, I love this person so much, I will never leave them alone with anything. Well, it's a deep contract, because anything means an illness, it means dying together, it means going into bankruptcy together, it means everything. Wow. So we've done so much in our unconscious carries so much, so it's really important to do this inner self work. And I'm talking like deep work to see where we're attaching to anything. There are no positive attachments. Every attachment is going to lead to us losing our center in ourselves. So that's what I mean. It's tricky, because not necessarily you can see a negative pattern outwardly in a family. It could be a family. Like, I have people that come to me, or people that I know, that say, I have no problems. My family is wonderful. I have no issues. I have no wounds. I have no nothing. And there, the family has all, but my family, everybody has this house issue, or everybody has that house issue. Why? What's there? Like, why are you all together again? And that's with the deeper healing work and awareness. That's digging, that's spending some time there and really having the intention. And the amazing thing too is, once one person releases the link to the chain is loose, and it invites everyone else to start releasing it too automatically. It takes one person to let go of one link, and then the chain kind of starts breaking, and everybody's healing starts.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. Wow. It's so amazing, so important. It's a work that's not done very much. It's not even talked about very much.
It's not even talked about. You're absolutely right. Is that family constellation work?
Not necessarily. It can also happen through family constellation work. You really, really can. It's very powerful. It can also happen in an individual healing session work that will be more tailored individually, to go there and release these energy patterns, to look into the connections with everybody and literally start disconnecting these pieces and bringing in the positive connection. It's so, so powerful.
Wow. So Lori Letterby asked the question, is dementia, can you release that too?
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Everything. That's what's so important to know. You can release anything. Now, my guides are just gave me a slap in the head. They're very gentle. They never show up. They let me do my thing, but every once in a while, when I'm saying something kind of stupid, so what they said is, be careful with what you say, because sometimes you can't release it, because you need to live through with it until the end. Okay, so you can't release everything. But we can heal everything. And truly, most of the time, it does release the illness. I've been doing this, like Kellee said, for over almost 25 years. Wow. Most of the time, I do see healing happening. It's very, very seldom that I see somebody having to live with something until the end. Dementia carries deep teachings because you kind of become out of control. You lose control of out of your own life, out of your own body sometimes, out of your own mind. And imagine the chaos that causes inside a person. So it could have a lot to teach about surrender, about receiving help, about
and having compassion.
Exactly. So there's deep lessons in there, deep lessons. And then for the family, love and compassion and patience. I mean, there's so much learning with that. And Kellee, I see that sometimes the deepest healings happen through illnesses.
For sure.
Right?
Illnesses and death. Yeah.
And death. Exactly.
I see a lot in that too. Some amazing things here. Renee Hounsel. Hi, Renee. If we are drawn to certain crystals, would it correlate to the service and gift we had during our life in Atlantis, Lemuria? Great question. I'm going to say yes, it would. Yes, it would
say for sure. Exactly. That's an amazing question. I had never thought of it myself, but yes, for sure. I mean, if you're drawn to Atlantis and Lemuria, because you're there. If you're drawn to healing, you've done that before. If you're drawn to certain crystals, and of course you're drawn to the work that they've performed before, that's a beautiful connection. Renee is like so ready for this Atlantis Lemuria thing. She's like downloading all the information.
She's gonna have a lot of information. Oh, it's great. Oh my gosh. So Anne Margaret asks, hi Anne Margaret. She says, what happens when we don't want to go back to a family member who hurt us? Is it bad karma that they reached out after 12 years and they were very narcissistic, and just the thought of them gives me a stomach ache? Oh, honey. I've had people like that. I've known.
Well,
in the family.
Yes. It's a very difficult situation because as a society, we're taught the rights and wrongs, right? So family's family, like you have to always stay there. It doesn't matter how abusive they are. That is not true. It's right, Kellee.
Greatest teachers to teach us boundaries.
Exactly.
12 years, it might be 24.
Yes, exactly. It might be a lifetime.
Seriously, might be a lifetime.
It might be a lifetime. So it's already showing that there's no good in going back to this connection because it's already giving you stomach aches. You're already not feeling well. So there's a lot of trauma there. And this person, you're saying that they're narcissistic, so they're not going to be seeing you. They're not seeing anybody except themselves.
There won't be any empathy. There won't be any forgiveness. There won't be an I'm sorry. I mean, there
won't be healing. It's not, I would say it's not time. I always hold the intention in my own life for someday the healing to happen. Right?
That's a great thing to hold on to. Intention. Right? That's a great intention.
Yeah, I mean, of course, because why wouldn't we? Why would we want to stay without talking to somebody for the rest of our lives or more than that? But there's got to be the right timing, because otherwise you create more karma by going like this,
absolutely. So Linda Miller has a great question. She says, I've always been drawn to the constellation Orion. She said, can I be from there? So that's another thing about Atlantis and Lemuria. We all came from other galaxies and then went to Lumeria and then went to lifetimes in Atlantis. So yes, of course. And the souls that are from Orion happen to be very, very psychic, psychic souls that come in. And I remember you and I have had many conversations, Prajna, about, I know I'm Arcturian. I know I am. And they're also very psychic and they like to crack codes.
Woo! Fun.
Starseeds, I love doing starseeds work because I think it's so important to do that. Yeah. But yes, that's a great galaxy to be from, frankly.
Absolutely. And don't be ashamed. Some people are like, oh, I can't say this out loud because how can I think that I'm from Orion or, they're an Arcturian or from the Pleiades? Just embody it. It's time that we embody who we are. That we
absolutely. Well, and we have it's going to be interesting. I think it's in the next week or two, or it's sometime this month. The month of May is going to be really wild too. With so many, we have Mercury going retrograde. But at one point this month, and I can't remember when it is, there's a conjunction with the Pleiades. So you're going to feel this healing energy this month come in, and we're going to need it because this year,
it's
woof,
tough.
I mean, towards
One.
August, September, October, November, very, very challenging.
Yeah, it's a challenging year. It feels to me that this year is harder than the other two. That
I've been saying that all along, as hard as 2020 was. And let's talk about that for a second. Are you working with people that have had long haul COVID? Because I have so many clients now that have this. Are you doing work with them? And if you are, is it helping? And tell us about that.
Absolutely. I mean, people are reacting to COVID very differently, right? One from another, but there are people that are having side effects for a long, long time, serious ones. Yeah. And I'm doing a lot of work. There's a lot of people showing up now, actually. I think people were kind of putting up with it for a while, and now they're getting desperate. So I have a lot of people showing up with that. It's a must. You gotta do the work to release the vibrational energy and to keep killing the virus, because you can kill virus with energy too, right? Everything, I mean, this crystal is vibration, right? Is energy. Right. Everything is energy. So a virus is energy. So if you are working with a healer that can work with a specific vibration to kill viruses slowly, you can make that happen. So you can change anything in the physical body. So I would say, I mean, I've been getting healings more than I have in like my life, just in case, because our bodies are going through so much. Right. So yes, if you've had COVID, if you have long effects, if you're still feeling it, look for help. You don't have to live with that. Like nobody has.
Kathy Kate says her son has had lung damage from COVID. So that is something that you are seeing as well, I'm assuming.
I'm seeing lung issues. I'm seeing eye issues. I'm seeing a lot of facial stuff. I'm seeing hair loss. I'm seeing nervous system. There's a lot of different things. Yeah, a lot of different things. A lot of vision issues are coming lately. Wow. But and it all takes time. It's not something. I mean, COVID is devastating. So it really wreaks havoc in the body in a very fast moving way. Wow. So it's the healing I'm doing with COVID, post-COVID people or COVID people is different than any healing I've ever done. It's a whole different story.
Gosh, that's amazing. So Trey N says, Orion has been a big draw to me too. Also ancient Egypt, lapis lazuli. Yep. Oh, Trey, you got to join us for a 3-part event.
Exactly.
It's going to be an amazing event. So Nancy Connolly says, when the Bob Haley's comet came, I was so drawn to that. It was just so compelling. It had such a pull on me. Isn't it interesting how all of a sudden we'll hear about something we have such a pull to it? That's really pay attention to that, because clearly you resonate with this.
Yeah. And it's also memories, Kelly, memories that we don't remember, but they're in our subconscious. So you're drawn to something. You probably have a memory of looking at that. Maybe you're in a neighbor, constellation, and you were looking at that, or you were there. If you saw it's memories. We have so many memories inside of us. We got to really pay attention.
So true here. So Doreen Pion says, can someone please explain to me why I'm so sensitive to solar flares? So let me talk about that for a second. I notice every time we have a big sun flare, I'm dizzy, brain fog, and sick. So last week we had a lot of solar flares. I mean, really major ones. And if you think about it, our major planet is the sun. I mean, with Earth, it's the sun. And so it's going to, for us, it's going to send energy of emotions. It's going to make us very emotional. And last week was a very emotional week because of that. So it sounds like you're just really sensitive to it. And as a lot of people are,
Yes. Yeah, the sun has incredibly high vibrational energy. Beings of really high caliber, like, not enlightened, but they go to the sun to recharge, and they sometimes meet in the sun before they go other places. It's an incredibly powerful place. So the flares, the vibration is so high that it will change us. Things it will change us. There's no way it doesn't. And if people are very, very sensitive, they're gonna feel it much more.
Oh my gosh, that's the truth. Linda Alquist, she says, I'm drawn to the North Star, also known as the Star of Bethlehem. So you may have had lifetimes in that area in Jerusalem. I mean, probably did if you're drawn to that.
Yes.
So Amy Augustine, is fairy or elemental energy related to Atlantis or Lemuria? I'm really drawn to that in all things Celtic. Yes, yes, and yes, Amy. Yes, that is absolutely correct. When I think of the elementals, I think of Lemuria.
Yeah,
I do.
absolutely.
I
Exactly.
do. And I think of green lush, and I think of water, and I think of the elementals. Yes, and the elementals are really important because they're the ones that seeded everything. So they're very important here.
Yes.
Very important here. And if you're lucky enough to feel their energy, consider yourself blessed.
Yes.
Because they don't reveal themselves to everybody. They don't like everybody.
No.
They're picky.
They're picky. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, Renee says, being into astronomy, I feel at home stargazing. Yes, and imaging. Yes.
Exactly. These are all memories. It's all memories. So you are at home. That's the home. I mean, Earth is a very, heavy, dense planet. It's a
Right.
planet of learning. It's a
Right.
planet of growth. It's not a planet of a walk in the park, of just enjoying. I mean, we do, but it's a planet of learning. It's for us souls that are like, you know what? I really want to grow. I want to evolve. I want to go to the next level. Like, that's why we're here. We're here to really grow. And so, I mean, this is home. This is a temporary home for us. Like Kellee said, none of us are from here originally. It's all temporary.
It's all temporary. So Isabella Cerulli says, what does it mean if you don't feel a pull towards any of this? Are you a young soul? Or are you just disconnected?
Well, I these things of young soul. I mean, if you're a really young soul, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be talking about this. You wouldn't have the comprehension for. I mean, young. You think primate, like you think really, really young. But a lot of the world is disconnected. So I would say it's probably just a matter of connecting deeper. It's kind of like mediumship or healing, right, Kellee?
Right.
We all have the abilities to do this, but we're mostly all disconnected. So it's just disconnection, temporary disconnection. And once we set the intention to connect, it all starts coming back. So
everything goes to setting the intentions.
Everything.
Really, it's true. And this is the greatest time to set your intentions because we have that solar eclipse.
You're talking about that.
Just talking about that. Hi, Steve Kanicki. He says, do we all have origins in Atlantis and Lemuria, or just some of us? That's a great question. How do you want to answer that?
Not all. I would say definitely just some of us. There's many flux through Earth that has happened. And I would say a lot of us at this time that are here have connections there, right, Kellee? I would say
a lot of us are here that, again, it goes to if you are an empath, are you empathic? Are you a scientist? Because Atlanteans had a lot of scientists and a lot of technology and a lot of engineers.
Yes, it was huge. So
a lot of writers, a lot of poets.
Yeah, Atlantis was incredible. They were all incredible.
Really. Robin Kane Kirby, I feel an extremely strong pull towards all things Mintaka.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either. I don't know what that is. You'll have to tell us about that because I don't know that. Tammy Keneally says, I'm drawn to sci-fi movies on TV, Star Wars, Star Trek, anything alien-based. So then you, my dear, are definitely a starseed, not from here.
With a lot of memories.
A lot of memories, I mean, I could immediately see a starseed. Immediately. They have a look about them. They don't necessarily want to be here. Some of them are agitated. They don't fit in. They're depressed. All kinds of things. But they're usually quite creative and quite brilliant.
Oh my God, so brilliant. So good to be around. This amazing energy that you just want to be around, right?
Susan Spinelli Bucci, what has happened with these limited people believing these off-the-wall conspiracy theories? How can so many people have lost their common sense? It's the greatest question. I don't have the answer to that. New souls? I'll call it new souls. That's where I would go with new souls. But I don't know. That's a great question.
I don't know. I think a lot of times people find safety in communities, right? That's just history. And that's one type of community. right? And
Yeah.
if that's where they're finding their safety, a lot of the times I think that's why people stay. I mean, there are communities of everything, communities of, religions, communities of studies, communities of people that live on somewhere. There's communities. So I think there's a lot of that. Like you feel empowered, So maybe it's people that are looking for, they're so scared and they're looking for safety, and they found people they go about it in such a harsh way that it doesn't allow them to feel their fear. So they're like, they're tough. So
That's true. And that I call those souls are very limited. I mean, I want to say they're kind of new here, new on the block.
They're
New kids on the block. Okay, Robin King is a water planet that once orbited a star in the Pleiades, where we call Legends of Mermaids, where dolphins, whales, and many fish were seeded from.
Wonderful. That's amazing. I had never heard that word. And I mean, the Pleiades are just, I think it would be one of these movies that there would be probably flying dolphins.
Oh, I always think of that. As soon as I talk to somebody that I recognize, they usually have light eyes, and I'll say, how do you feel about dolphins? And they'll say, oh, I love dolphins. How do you feel about water? I love the water. Do you cry easily? All the time. And then I know they're from the Pleiades. It makes it pretty easy. Hi, so Lizette. I love Lizette. Hey, Lizette. She says, hi, Kellee and Prajna. What is the significance of having lucid dreams about the void, Lumeria, and Atlantis? Well, if you're having lucid dreams about them, Lizette, I mean, I've seen your artwork, honey. I mean, it looks like something straight out of Atlantis, your artwork. She's an incredible artist. And if you're having lucid dreams about this experience, there's no doubt in my mind you were there.
Yes. And I'll say something quickly about the void. To me personally, the void, when I reach the void, which is very rare, is when I reach the deepest part of my essence and my being. It's where it's beyond feelings, it's beyond thoughts, it's beyond presence. Yeah. The void to me is the beginning and the essence of everything. That's the center. The void is the very, 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 very center.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so right here.
When you just
are. Gosh.
Things just are. There's no questioning. There's no thinking. There's no sounds. Things just are. Yeah. That's it.
So everybody, if you would like to join us, you can sign up. Renee has put everything here in the comment section. You can sign up for our Lemuria Atlantis. The first one is on June 10th, and the second one, I believe, is July 23rd. I think that's right. I should have that. And the fourth one is the third one is September 10th. And we're going to record it. So if you can only come to one, or if you can only come to two, we'll send it to you. So please join us, because I think it's going to be so much fun. And if you want to have a session with Prajna Avalon, you can reach Prajna at prajnaavalon.com.
Absolutely.
And that's where you do your booking, right?
That's where I do my booking. Yeah, absolutely. Just connect with me, schedule it. I'm here if you're drawn to it, with everything. If you feel drawn, just follow.
She's an incredible healer. Incredible. You guys will just love it. So, everybody's saying love to you. Love to you guys. Oh, great. Well, I'm so glad that you got to join me tonight. Yay. And I can't wait to work with you soon. It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be wonderful. And this energy that was here, it's just going to keep building and building and building. And that's what we're going to have there. And then when everybody joins, it's going to be that meeting of all of the energies. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be really incredible.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Oh, my gosh. Well, everybody, listen, we'll see you on Monday. Monday, James and I are going to be talking about the joy of humor. So we are going to do the show on Monday, the joy of humor. Sorry, we had to miss it this week. We had we couldn't do it, but we'll be there on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So thanks everybody for joining us. And thank you so much, Prajna. I'm so happy that you were there. Thanks, Renee.
Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.